Hello students, welcome back. So in this session, I'm going to be talking about pandas apply, okay? And what apply does, it actually applies a function to rows or columns, okay? It's going to apply to rows or columns, and it can be done both for series or data frame. You can apply either to a whole series or to a whole data frame. And it's more powerful than another inbuilt function map. So whatever you can do with map, you can also do with apply right here. So that's why I actually prefer apply. That's my preference. So first thing you want to do is import your libraries. Okay, import pandas as PD. I import my pandas as PD, execute this cell, and make sure you have this file data.csv in your local directory. So Control A, Control C, come over here, paste it, and let's look at the data. And this is the data right here. Okay, as you can see, there are only like 11 records. So these are my columns right here. Okay, and these are the values for this data. Okay, let's say you want to create another column. Okay, you want to create another column called age group, and this age group, okay, this age group is going to contain two values, young or senior, depending on whether the person age is less than 30 and experience less than 4. If the age is less than 30 and experience less than 4, then the value is going to be young. Otherwise, we're going to put senior over there. That's what I want. In this case, I'm going to perform a row wise custom function. Basically, what's going to happen, I'm going to go through go through each and every row, and if my row, if that particular row, the age is less than 30 and experience is less than 4, then it's going to return young. Otherwise, it's going to return senior. So this is my custom function right here. Okay. So this is my age, right? And this is my experience. These are the two columns that I'll be looking at, or that I'll be analyzing. And based on that, I'm going to create another column called age group. And that age group is going to contain those values as young and senior. As you can see, this actually worked just fine. So in this case, you can see age and experience is 2. So this actually satisfies this condition. So it returns young, and that's why you see the young over there. So this is one way you can actually use apply. So what's happening over here is this: your apply is applying this particular function catech person, which is right here, to every single row. Okay, it's applying this function to every single row, and this function in return, what it does when it iterates through the row, it actually looks for these conditions right here. Okay, depending on which condition is satisfied, it returns young, otherwise it returns senior. This is a pretty handy tool if you want to create another column based on some conditions from the other column. So this is a pretty handy tool. All right, by the way, I'm not printing everything. I'm just printing some relevant columns over here: name, age, experience, and age group. So as you can see, it creates a column called age group, and these are the corresponding values depending on age and experience. Okay, now let's say I want to create, I want to have a column-wise custom function. Okay, so let's do a column-wise custom function. So I want to create another column, okay, called salary clean with USD appended to the salary column. So I want to put the word USD in front of it. So let's run this. So basically what I wanted was this. I have a column called salary, right? And look at my salary. So all, if you look at the salary column, all the values are basically just numbers like this. Okay, so maybe we want to put some currency in front of it, maybe US dollar, Australian dollar, Indian rupees, Chinese money, whatever that is, and whatever currency that is. So let's do that. So in this case, I'm actually creating a function called add USD, and I'm taking my S. S is short for series. So if the value is not null, then it's going to return USD and the value itself. Otherwise, it's going to return the value itself. So again, I'm applying this function right here. I'm calling df salary.apply. Now in this case, I'm applying just to that one column. Okay, that's what's happening over here in the top one. I was applying df to every single, the whole data frame, basically every single column. Okay, in this case, I'm applying to just to one column right here. Okay, just to one series. Okay, I apply this, and this time I print only name, age, salary, and salary clean. And as you can see, my salary clean now has USD in front of it. Depending, what it does, it basically takes this amount, and if it's a finite value, if the value exists, it's going to put a USD in front of it. If the value does not exist, it's just going to put NaN. So that's what's happening over here in this logic. Okay, now let's apply and lambda. Let's do apply with lambda, and let's try to redo some of these steps again. All right, so I'm going to read my CSV file. First thing I do is read my CSV file. And now, first I'm going to do is create a new column called tax, which is 10% of your salary. And this time, I'm going to do it without lambda. I'm just going to use my simple apply function. So let's come over here. I read my data and I print my data right there. So this is my original data right there. Actually, I really don't need this thing. I think you have seen the data. So let me just comment this line out. Okay, then I'm creating an add text. Okay, this is my function. And what it's going to do is going to go through the salary column. And each time it sees the salary, it's going to multiply by zero point 0.1. Okay, 10%. And then I'm going to create another column called tax one. And that tax one is going to be that the 10% of that salary. So as you can see, it created a tax one column. So I'm printing my values right here. Okay, these are my columns and it prints right here. So you can see this is 10% of this. This is 10% of this, 10% of this. So this way I'm able to apply this function, add text, which is this function, to every single value in the series. And it produces me this particular value. Now, let's try to redo the same thing using lambda. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing using lambda. So this is my tax 2. Okay, this one, the above one was tax 1. I've created a column called tax 1. Now I'm going to create a column called tax 2. And instead of specifying the whole function, like creating a function like this over here, and then invoking the function, what you can do, you can just apply lambda x over there. That's it. Okay, that's all you do. Some of you who know what and lambda x, basically what it's doing is taking a value, okay, each value, and it's multiplying each value by zero point 0.1, and it returns it. So the word return is already inside your lambda, so it's implicit. So this way you don't have to actually, it makes your code a little bit more smaller. Think of lambda as something that makes your code a little bit more manageable. Okay, so it creates this another column called text2, and what it does, it takes every single value in salary, okay, and it's going to multiply that value by zero point 0.1, and it's going to return that. So if I run this again, and as you can see, this is my text2 right here, okay, text2. I also printed my text1, which is from my previous one, and as you can see, they match, okay, this is matching, okay. All right, now let's say that let's try to do apply and lambda across rows. So before I did across column, right? But now we want to do across rows. So let's do that way too. So step one, let's do it without lambda function. So let's say I want to add another column called info, and that column should contain something like the person name is and the how many years old that person is. So for example, this is my for apply function, okay, sorry, my inbuilt apply, and I'm applying this function format info. What this does, it creates another column, okay, info one, and what it's going to do is going to say Alice is 25 years old, Bob is 30 years old, Charlie is 35 years old. So basically, this new column comes, and this column takes the existing columns, and it combines those columns, and it creates another column, and it basically prints out some information. Okay. All right. So I'm doing this thing using format info. This is my method. This is my function, format info, and I'm calling this function using apply. And what it's going to do is it's going to apply this function to every single row. Okay. So as it iterates to the row, it's going to return this value right here. All right. Now let's try to redo the same thing using lambda. So you can do the same thing using lambda and run this. And as you can see, I'm printing both my previous info, which is info one, which is this right here. And I'm also printing the new info, which is right here. Okay, and as you can see, they're identical. Everything is identical right here. Now, what's happening over here is this, that instead of explicitly defining a function called what was that function, format info. So instead of defining that function format info, I'm actually defining that function right here inside this. Okay, so in case if you don't want to create another function, this is another nifty trick you can employ to actually just reduce your lines of code. All right, so now let's say okay, done with this thing, experience, we were okay. All right, now let's say I want another column called age group. Okay, and this age group should be exactly same. This actually function is similar to the one we just did, and in this case, the age group is going to be a person is going to be classified as young if the age is less than 30 and experience is less than 4. Otherwise, he's going to be classified as senior. So I want to do that. So this is a similar the one we just did a minute ago. If you go on top, okay, right here, there you go. This one. Okay, this is exactly similar to that, except now I'm trying to redo the same thing using lambda function. Okay, so let's come down and let's run this. And there you go. So as you can see, oh, what happened over here? And this time, oh, instead of printing the whole DF, I just want to print only that part. So let me just copy and paste that. So this way I don't have to uh, see the whole thing. So come over here. All right, come down. All right, paste it. And let's run this. All right, and as you can see, age group, young, senior, senior, young, depending on age and experience. And I'm actually doing redoing the same thing as I did up using lambda this time. I'm not explicitly defining a function. I'm using lambda.